24th of June 2025, and I'm in Tel Aviv surveying some of the damage that's been done by Iranian bombs. Trump has called a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, so we'll see if that lasts and how long it lasts for. But the position Israel is in is that you don't really want to call an end to the war if Iranian rockets are just going to resume weeks or months later. I'll continue walking so you can see some of the damage that's been done in Tel Aviv, but it needs a significant knockdown and rebuild job. And you don't particularly want to do that if rockets are just going to be raining down on Tel Aviv in the weeks or months to come. So, and I'll turn around, you should be able to see some of the damage that's been done to those buildings. These buildings are just going to have to get knocked down. The large skyscraper behind me, windows have been smashed right up until the top. So that's the problem Israel has. Now, in an ideal world, you would ensure that Iran can't fire any more rockets at Israel and destroy as many of the missile launchers in Iran as you possibly can. Because if you don't do that and you leave the missile launchers to resume firing missiles weeks or months down the line, then there's just no point attempting to rebuild these parts of Tel Aviv and many other places around Israel. So that's number one. Has Israel done everything in its power to disarm Iran, not only from a nuclear perspective, but from a missile perspective? And see some of those buildings behind me. And then obviously there's going to be different views between the Americans and the Israelis on the importance of regime change in Iran. I get the sense that as it stands, Israel would be very keen on regime change in Iran, given the decades of terrorism and death that has been unleashed on Israel from the Iranian regime and the Ayatollah. And perhaps the Americans see a weakened Iranian regime as something that they can work with, and they don't want to take the risk or the gamble on a power vacuum in Iran. So that's where we are. Now, there's supposed to be transport being built right down Allenby Street in Tel Aviv, and that hasn't been done for a number of years. In retrospect, that's a good thing, given that Tel Aviv's just been bombarded with Iranian missiles. But the question becomes, well, when is it safe to resume building work? When is it safe to knock down these buildings? When is it safe to start rebuilding them? And if you don't have the confidence that Iran isn't going to rain down missiles weeks, months down the line, then you can't start the rebuilding process. I think a mistake everyone from the Americans to Europeans make is comparing this to Russia-Ukraine, where it was going to be very, very difficult for either side of that war to defeat the other. The Israel-Iran war is different in that Israel controls the Iranian airspace, the Iranian skies. Americans haven't had to do much other than the very significant mission knocking out Iran's nuclear capacity. But in the Israel-Iran case, there is the possibility for an overwhelming Israeli victory, ensuring that Iran can't fire missiles at Israel, and a new beginning to rebuild the damage done in Israeli cities. But we will see what happens with the ceasefire, and we will see if Israel is happy to leave the current Iranian regime in place with its current weapon capacity. But yeah, delicate times, and we shall see what the future days have in store.